Good morning, sir. I choose Jane Paul Satre, one of the proponents of existentialism. Jane Paul Sartre is one of the most important philosophers of all time, whose theories on existentialism and freedom cement his place as one of the most influential Western philosophers of 20th century and beyond. He was born in Paris, France on June 21, 1905, and graduated in philosophy in 1929. He was then drafted into the French army in 1939 and became a person of war from 1940 to 1941 and released 1 year later. He returned to France and began teaching again and became an active in resistance, which is a French group dedicated to remove the occupying German army. And during this time in 1943, he released his own Being and Nothingness, his first book on phenomenology, the study of awareness. When the war was ended, he stopped teaching and became a playwright and public intellect who was involved in some of the most prominent political issues of the post-war society. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1964 but refuses it on the ground that he would institutionalize writing. After his health slowly deteriorated, he died in 1980 at the age of 74. Jean-Paul Sartre is an existentialist philosopher who brought existentialism under the spotlight and shaped it into a defining theory. The central core principle of existentialism is that existence precedes essence, which means that we define our own essence. We exist first, then we develop who we are. The essence is the fundamental thing that makes something what it is. It is the defining attribute or characteristic. Sartre famously said, "What do we mean by saying that existence precedes essence? We mean that man first of all exists, encounters himself, surges up in the world, and defines himself afterward." According to the existentialists, we are born, we exist, then we spend our entire life creating our essence, developing who we are. There is nothing that is innate in us, no preceding essence. We are blank slates, and who we are developed through time. Our essence is then developed through our choices. We are free agents, free to choose and to experience the consequences of our choices. These choices develop who we are and create our essence. As Sartre explained, our existence comes with the anguish of freedom. It means that we were not created for a specific purpose. We are not guided in our choices. Our lives were not planned or determined. We are thrown into life against our will as none of us choose to be born. So, eventually, we gain self-awareness. And we have to make our choices with no essence, no purpose, and no innate meaning. We must create all of these things by ourselves through our free choices. Therefore, we are responsible for what we become, for our essence, for our purpose. We bear the complete responsibility for existence and our meaning. In conclusion, our existence precedes our essence. Our essence is developed by our free choices, and our choices should be taken with utmost responsibility. Every human being is solely responsible for their actions because we choose who we are. Humans are born nothing. and then become who they are through their own choices and actions.